this time every Saturday, it's StandOut with Mr. Patrick, and it's only complete if and when Mr. Patrick shows up, and he's right here. Good morning, Mr. Patrick.
Hi, Sammy. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm wonderful as always. How you doing?
Adjusting back to the new reality, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
I hope you're not dissatisfied.
No, I'm not. I think at this point, adjusting is not the term to describe. Everyone should have adjusted by now.
I'm not sure.
It will be difficult to imagine someone who has not adjusted.
How about those people who lost their job?
Okay. Well, that's.
How about those who had salary cuts?
Well, I get, but I'm.
Kind of the people who have planned their wedding and anything.
No, that one. They should even be happy that they won't spend as much. No kidding. That should be a blessing. You have a low-key wedding.
Yeah.
So today we're talking the dissatisfied life.
Sammy, have you noticed that people are taking their life like as if no value for life? People are giving up. People are throwing in the towel. Where are we at this point? That's why I ask, are you dissatisfied, or do you have anybody who is dissatisfied? So all of you hearing us and all your friends, if you have anybody who is dissatisfied, come over this show, because we're going to look at the root of this and see how we can deal with it and have a better life, right? So I want to say that, like I said, that I come from a point of failure, a point of dissatisfaction, so I can encourage the people, because if I take your seat, I can feel your feeling. I can understand your emotion. I can understand your need. I know how it is to be frustrated because you lost a job, or you lost somebody, or maybe you're a single mother, a single parent, or maybe your hope seems to be dashed. But why? Let's look at it from a point of a guy that I like so much. The writer of Psalm said in Psalm 131, Lord, I have given up my pride and torn away my arrogance from arrogance. I am not concerned with great matters, mark the word, great matters, or with subjects that are too difficult, maybe outside my control. Instead, I'm contented and at peace. As a child lies quietly in his mother's arms, so my heart is quiet within me. Trust in the Lord now and forever. I like the way the gentleman Jeremiah put it very well in 45 verse 6. He said, but God says, look around what I have built. I'm about to wreck it. And what I have planted, I'm about to rip it up. I'm not doing it. I'm doing it everywhere, all over the world, all over the earth. So forget about making big plans yourself. Talk about big plans. Things are going to get worse before they get better. But don't worry, I will keep you alive through the whole business. So, does it make sense to you? Things are going to get worse before they get better. So most often, dissatisfaction with others is an expression of dissatisfaction with ourselves. Everyone who tries to control things that they can't control will end up with dissatisfaction. Control is one sure point. Dissatisfaction should be a fuel of life, knowing you can improve it, realizing you can, and you will make things better. Unsatisfied mindset activate creativity and improvement. Dissatisfaction is the spark of improvement. So, what are the four connectors to dissatisfaction? Hopelessness. When people get to that point of they are hopeless, they are dissatisfied. When you are observing your low current functionality, when your ability is being drained, you're just tired. I can't do this again. I'm tired of doing this. It becomes recurrent. You're dissatisfied with your job, with a marriage, with an engagement. Poor mental strength. That's when you're wired negatively. You're very pessimistic about things. You just see everything is not going well. And depressive disorder. But what occasions these factors is when the confession of your life is that life is hard. At every point in time, it's that life is hard. So you begin to wire. You see, this is what fuel in the hopelessness. Life is hard. Believing that people cannot be trusted, nobody can help anybody any longer. Seeing evil in everything. Everything you do, there's an evil. There's somebody doing or something evil or wrong something. Comparing with yourself with others. I should have been here. Oh, these people are better. Want to always be in control of everything. Everybody. The situation. Concerned with fear and worry of the future. There's no future. What counts today is today. Being mindful, being watchful, being present. When 90% of your sentence or your life is dominated by complaint, gossip, and whining. So, a gentleman was talking in Proverbs 3:30 verse 6. He said, he listed about 4 things that brings unsatisfied life. Number 1 is unconnected to the source of life. We are not the architects of life. Why are people taking their life? Why are you hopeless? He said something, remain in me and I will remain in you. Just as no branch can bear fruit by itself unless it remains in the vine, neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. And this is our Lord Jesus Christ saying this. So it means if I'm dissatisfied, I'm disconnected from source. And one of the things that has helped me as a person, I've gone through worst life anybody can go. But I never get disconnected to my source, which is God, in my case. Never elevate your expectation above your effort. Because your effort will determine your expectations. When people are disconnected from praying, when people are disconnected from enjoying worship, the ritual of maintaining a relationship with your source is a key point. So when you disconnect from imagine your phone disconnect from the source of power, it's going to run off, isn't it?
Yeah.
What charges you? What rekindle you? Where do you get your inspiration? Where do you get your promise? Where do you get your hope? Number 2, and that means that when you unconnected, that means you are like a barren place. Number 2, productive life, barrenness. Not driven with clear defined life mission. And I say this, a lot of us don't have a life mission. And I said this to people, I said, my life mission is very simple because I have a vision to be a builder. So it means that I build with everything. I build with all circumstances because there's something good about it. And what is the mission? Quality, driven by quality, driven by productivity, driven by perfection. Perfection means getting better than you have always been, and possibilities. So if you have a vision, clear vision, and you have a mission upon which how your life would drive, you find out that even the most absurd situation, your vision and your mission will connect to it, and you see it differently. Without empowered, convicted reasons. People have no reasons. I have a reason to live for another person. I have a reason to live, to be a better citizen. I have a reason to fulfill my commission, my divine assignment. There must be something that you are convinced about without established core values and principles. What is your governing philosophy in life? I've segmented my own, about 8 of them. Number 1 is goodness. I see good in all things. I dwell in goodness. Number 2 is kindness. Number 3 is respect. Respect people. Respect the belief. Respect the government. Respect the authority. Number 4 is hard work. Mental capacity. What is the next one? Order. Order is the beauty of life. What is the next one? You see patience. Patience. With patience you possess your possession. That's process. So number 5, it's about love. Love everything you do. Increase in love. And the next one, keep your word. Without a remarkable intentions, we have said connect with the purest of intentions. What is the intention about things? Without developing a strong support system. And now this is where people are missing it, Sammy. Okay, said, I lost my my husband, and nobody, no friends. But what did you do with them? Did you culture? Did you develop that support system? But now your husband is gone. Yes, you were cocky. Yes, you had everything. Yes, nobody should talk to your husband. Cousins won't come. Brothers and friends will come. You can't give them food. You can't help them. But now you want them to help you. Now you're disconnected from a support system. But one can say, what if I have done all that? I don't think totally everybody will abandon you. Cluttered with non-essentials. People are governed by non-essential. There are things that we have that we don't need. You have clothing that you don't need. You have resources you don't need. There are a lot of things that we have that we don't really need. And those things cluster us. Not paying the price forward. How often do we want to get a reward without paying the price? Pay the price now and play later, or play now and pay the price. Without purposeful lifestyle design. Design your life how you want to live it and not how people want you to live it. And number 3, it's called the unchallenged life. That's what they call the past life. Driven by challenges, develop your mental robustness and capacity and toughness, and stand down fear. Stay up courage. Build confidence. Comfort zone can only deplete your reservoir of installed capacity. Energy. Challenges opens you up for mental shift, new perspective with unique experience that will entirely change your focus and devotion and dedication, strength in love and forgiveness. We also boast of our trouble because we know that the trouble produces endurance. Endurance brings us God's approval, and His approval creates hope. And this hope does not disappoint us, for God has power, poured out His love into our heart by the means of the Holy Spirit, which is God's gift to us. James said, make sure that your endurance carries you all the way without falling, so that you may be able to be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Endurance is good. Some of us have developed a mental capacity to challenge our troubles, because we have seen that, well, if 7 times with a good man falls, 7 times he can rise. So don't run away from challenges or problems, nor ignore them. Rather, face them, and they will usher you into a greater lesson and development and growth. I like this one. It's an uncontrolled expectation. That's what they call the forest of fire. That's the passion. Outcomes are given to be embraced, not to be fight with. Fighting outcome is needless unless they are within your inner control. Untamed passion, ungoverned life, without boundaries, without limits, self-deception, unkind, unfairness, lack of empathy, not making allowance for others, and unfair judgment of yourself. Number 5, unparented life. This is when you disdain fatherhood, any form of fatherhood, whether it's a boss or people who don't have any form of control or despises your mother. So with that predetermined life flow pattern, understand that when things go wrong, you can champion yourself. You can rise from the ashes. You know, like the former president's wife said something. There is God. That means there is hope. Each time, I know it's tough, but there are still people who look up to you as I wish I can be like this person. There is hope. There's no need to be dissatisfied. There's no need to set high expectations. And that's why I like it said, I do not concern myself with things that are higher than me. I'm at peace with myself. Sam, you want to say something?
I always want to say something. All right. Things will get worse before they get better. Dissatisfaction with others most times is dissatisfaction with ourselves. Dissatisfaction is a spark for improvement. Now, you stated some of the problems. If your confessions are negative, seeing evil in everything, wanting to always be in control of everything, Never elevate your expectations above your effort. An unproductive life, untamed passion, ungoverned life, unparented life, and unchallenged life. Some of the issues here. Now, the first question is from things will get worse before it gets better. Must this always be the order? Must things always get worse?
Yeah, when I was studying this, I went back to the book of reference. And in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, he said, therefore, everything there's time. All I could see was there was darkness before light. There was planting before harvest. There was weeping before laughing. Right? I studied about most great men. If you study about most great men, it was in their deep darkness that their life flows. So it's just a way of life. You cannot afford it. You cannot become a doctor except you go to the tournament and the suffering, the midnight, to born to become a doctor.
Now, there are people who have, gotten some benefits or some good life, and there's no trace of them having suffered before getting to that point.
What is the definition of suffer?
Must it always be in that order? Must there be suffering before enjoyment? Aren't there cases where you just get the prize?
So why don't they just from childhood and just start? They become no pain, no schooling, no discipline.
No, I'm not disputing that. That's the order of things. I mean, we all got to this point through a process.
Yes.
But there are some cases where you see that this person did not have any kind of. There was no process at all. There was no. They just got what people who have been through the process.
But there's an element of subjecting to discipline that person at that point in time didn't like. There's that schooling to be able to maintain that good life, because that good life was sustained by certain rules, and that process of inculcating that may be inconveniencing. Do you understand? So you provide all the things, but the child will still go to school. The child will still need to do stuff to get the full enjoyment. It might look like, okay, he's driven to school, he picked up from school, he has everything, but there's always that discipline. A child will be parented.
So subjection to discipline.
Subjection to discipline.
That must happen.
Because the discipline is the root of successful life.
All right. Another issue you raised was not having a life vision. And the question is, how do you get a life vision? You talked about, so you know your vision, you're a builder. But I'm sure you didn't always know this from when you were born. There was a point where you decided. So how can people get a life vision? And how do they know that this thing is the vision for my life?
That's why when you get into this state of undissatisfied life, you begin to find out what are the things that governs my life. Because it could be that you have been getting vision from your parents, you're running, and they are not in alignment to your true person. And you realize, Sammy, that there's this unsatisfied life that comes that maybe like a change. Like for me, I realized that life must be better than sleeping and working, looking for money, doing that and all that. And that led me to search. It took me a whole lot, over 30 years. In fact, I think it was my late 30s that I realized that, this is who I am. And discovering who you are, and then reparenting yourself to say, this is where I want to be. That's where consequences comes in. And once I got that point, my life has changed, because now you have a vision. At any point in time, your vision will now align to the day-to-day reality. So if I get hot over here, the first thing will be, how will this build me? So the search, and put yourself with people, surround yourself with people who have vision. You become uncomfortable. When they talk about it, you're likely going to be magnetized to that. Don't be self-isolated. So
it's a personal search, self-discovery.
Yes, self-discovery. It's rooted in self-discovery, yes. When you're on that self-discovery. And when people talk about self-development, you can't talk about self-development without a mission. That's what it will introduce you when you start talking about self-development. The first thing will be, what are you developing to? Then it dawned on you like you need to have a mission. Because now I can't run you and I can't run the other person. I need to know where I'm going. That brings discipline. That brings a course of life.
Okay, Mr. Patrick.
Thank you.
What's happening with StandOut?
StandOut, we're excited. We're doing awesome things. We're praying every 9 o'clock. We're readjusting our programs as well. Those details will be furnished once we are able to get all those things in place. Yeah.
And I'm sure you communicate via the social handles.
Oh yes, so I stand out. If you follow So I Stand Out in all the social handles, then you can get what we believe and who we are. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So what are the numbers people can connect?
08033411451. 08033411451.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Patrick.
Thank you very much, Sammy, and do have a lovely day.
Have a beautiful day.